Good morning, students. Today we will discuss the question answers of two chapters. One is Unit 2 from First Flight Nelson Mandela A Long Walk to Freedom, and the second is from our supplementary reader A Triumph of Surgery. First, we start with Nelson Mandela Long Walk to Freedom. Now, the first question in oral comprehension check is what twin obligations does Mandela mention? Well, Mandela mentions that every man has twin obligations. The first is to his family, parents, wife, and children, and the second obligation is to his people, his community, and his country. The second question he asks is what did being free mean to Mandela as a boy and as a student? How does he contrast these transitory freedoms with the basic and honorable freedom? The answer to this question, like any other small kid while growing up, for Mandela also, freedom meant freedom to feel happy and enjoy life. Once you become a grown up person, automatically what you did as a small kid, it looks like transitory. Why? Because most of the childish activities which you did is a wasteful activity according to your parents from their point of view. Once you become an adult, and then you have to earn a livelihood so that you can bring all the essentials home for the existence of yourself and your family in this society. Automatically that becomes basic and honorable freedom. And the third question, does Mandela think the oppressor is free? Why or why not? Mandela does not feel the oppressor is free. Why? Because according to him, an oppressor is a prisoner of hatred who is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow mindedness. He feels that both the oppressor and the oppressed are robbed of their humanity. Now we will discuss the longer questions, which is thinking about the text. The first question is why did such a large number of international leaders attend the inauguration? What did it signify the triumph of? Well, the presence of that large number of international leaders was a gesture of solidarity from international community to the idea of end of apartheid. As we all know that South Africa, before freedom, when it was being ruled by the Britishers, they used the policy of apartheid, that is racial discrimination, difference between the race, that is black and white people. And since it ended, till then South Africa was isolated from the world. Nobody had any kind of relationship with this country because of the system of apartheid. And when it got freedom and when invitations were sent out to the whole world, leaders from 140 different countries came in support of the end of apartheid. It signified the triumph of good over evil, the triumph of the idea of a tolerant society without any discrimination. This is what this signifies. The second question is what does Mandela mean when he says he is simply the sum of all those African patriots who had gone before him? Well, Mandela, when he spoke these words, basically he was paying tribute to all the people, those leaders, and those were not so famous also, who had sacrificed their lives for the sake of freedom. He pays tribute to all these people. He feels that he is just the sum of all these African patriots who had sacrificed their life before him, because these freedom fighters who laid down their lives, they paved the way, they cleared the path of cooperation and unity for him. Nelson Mandela did not start the freedom struggle, it had already started before him. And those heroes who had gone before him, they cleared the path for him to attain independence. Therefore, he got the support of his people to be able to come to power and to bring equality to his own people. Now, the third question is, would you agree that the depths of oppression creates height of character? How does Nelson Mandela illustrate this? Can you add your own example to this argument? Yes, we all agree. Depths of oppression create heights of character. Nelson Mandela was enjoying a peaceful life. Once he illustrates this by giving examples of great heroes of South Africa who sacrificed their lives in the long freedom struggle. All the names which he had given that day, these all people who sacrificed their lives, they were the Oliver Tambos, the Walter Sisulu, Chief Luthuli, Yusuf Dadu, Bram Fisher, Robert Sowaki. These were all the men of extraordinary courage, wisdom, and generosity. And they became so because they were oppressed a lot. Because of which, from those depth of oppression, got great people with great heights of character. India is also full of such examples. During our freedom struggle also we had great leaders. Jawaharlal Nehru, Mahatma Gandhi, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and many more. They also were oppressed, and because of that oppression they rose to great heights. Lots of leaders of Indian country. Because the British rule, they ruled with such oppression that it created leaders and men of such character. In the same way, South Africa also had such great leaders which India also had. So Nelson Mandela is absolutely right in stating this statement that depths of oppression create heights of character. The next question is, how did Mandela understanding of freedom change with age and experience? With age, Nelson Mandela kept on realizing as he grew up that he had a lot of responsibility of his people, his community, and his country. As a boy, while growing up, he still did not understand the meaning of freedom. For him, he thought he was born free. He believed that as long as he obeyed his father and abided by the customs of his tribe, he was free in every possible manner. As a teenager, he had certain needs. As a growing up man, also the same thing. But gradually, he realized that he was selfish during his boyhood. Slowly, he understood that it is not just freedom of blacks, it is after attaining the understanding that he develops a hunger for the freedom of his people. And how did Mandela's hunger for freedom changed his life? Mandela realized in his youth that it was not just his freedom that was being curtailed, but the freedom of all the people of his country was curtailed, especially blacks. The hunger for his own freedom became automatically the hunger for the freedom of his people. This desire of a non-racial society transformed him into a virtuous and self-sacrificing man. Thus, he joined the African National Congress, and this changed him from a frightened young man into a bold man. Okay, children. So now we will discuss the question answers of a triumph of surgery. Now, in our textbook, and think about it, the first question is, what kind of a person do you think the narrator, a veterinary surgeon, is? Would you say he is tactful as well as full of common sense? The first part of the question, the answer we are doing. I think the narrator is a very tactful person. This is how you write it. He knows how to deal with people and accordingly adjusts himself with the type of the personality that the person is and what are the circumstances about it. As soon as Miss Pumphrey brought Tricky, the dog, to her, to him, sorry, he understood what was the problem with Tricky. He knows Tricky is not suffering from any kind of sickness. The main cause of him being sick is that he eats more. He has been given food which is more than he can take. So he takes the dog to his surgery. There, he keeps the dog as any dog should be kept in a natural environment. And the dog recovers through his treatment under his supervision and the natural environment which he provides for the dog. This is how he deals with Tricky's problem. So we can say that yes, he is tactful as well as full of common sense. The second question is, do you think Tricky was happy to go home? And what do you think will happen now? Yes, the dog was happy to go home. After all, he had been away from home for 15 days. But during the time that he was at Mr. Harriet's surgery, there too he was very happy since he was provided his natural environment. When he was brought in at the surgery, he was sick. But in spite of it, without any kind of medicines, the dog got cured because the veterinary surgeon was a very tactful fellow. Proper diet and regular exercise helped a lot in the recovery of Tricky, and he regained its best health and was no longer sick as Mrs. Pumphrey had told when he was brought in. But going back home, what will happen now? Again, most probably the same thing will happen, that Mrs. Pumphrey will start taking excessive care of the dog and will start feeding him more, because after all the dog has not been at home for a fortnight. So she will supplement it by overfeeding him again, and that is her love. But excess of anything is harmful, whatever it may be. If you go beyond the limit, it starts to harm your body. This is what is going to happen. Third question, do you think this is a real life episode or mere fiction, or is it a mixture of both? This story can be a mixture of both real life and only fiction also. Mrs. Pumphrey is a rich lady and has a pet dog, and she has been pampering the dog a lot, in fact overfeeding the dog, which results in the dog falling sick. Although her intention is good, but unfortunately the dog falls sick because of overfeeding it. Plus, the dog has no exercise at home. This chapter can also be taken as total fiction who don't take it seriously. Same thing applies in life also, to parents who take excessive care of their child. Well, all parents love their children, no doubt about it, but a line has to be drawn. If excessive amount of love is given, even then the child becomes spoiled. So everything should be given according to the limit. If you go over the limit, what will happen? We saw in the lesson, though it was the example of a dog over there. Dog fell sick. Same thing can happen with us also.